Hi guys, my name is Imran. I'm a husband, I'm a father. I'm also an entrepreneur and an international speaker. I'm coming to you live from Danang, Vietnam, where I am right now 1 month with my family, and I'm going to just share with you very quickly, my personal experience of Breaking Bad. If our life is just made up of moments and we are what we repeatedly do, then our habits, whether good or whether bad, have that power to not only change who we are and our DNA and then all that we do, but the course of our destiny. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I want to ask you these two questions. If you're on this call, do you have at least one bad habit you want to change? It could be in any area of life, finances, health, fitness. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions around going to the gym. Think of that one thing and we'll be using it for the next 10 to 12 minutes. Do you think of yourself as well as a smart, driven person? Isn't it a strange thing that smart, driven people who want to make a difference still cannot bring themselves to do the things that they know they need to do? That thing that you want to change, you know that you want to change. You know what you need to do, but still, we don't do it. Why? And my promise here in this call is to really show you and identify the real cause of the habits and how we can change them right now. Because here's the thing, it's not about removing the bad habit altogether. You don't stop smoking by stopping smoking. You stop smoking by changing it. For example, every single time you want to smoke, you exercise instead. Every single time you want to smoke, you do something that's healthy and nourishing and enriching for you, that gives you vitality, that gives you life. Right? Isn't it the case that we don't stop something, we just switch it with something else? So it's about really changing what we do and then who we are and then what we experience in life. Does that make sense? And you're probably wondering, why is it that this guy from Singapore based in Da Nang right now, who has a Chinese face and a Muslim name, wearing a batik shirt and has a weird accent, what's he got to do with my life and anything around helping me change? And I'd just like to share with you, if you don't mind, a little story about myself and how I thought that I was completely broken. And because of that, I kept self-destructing in so many areas of my life. And for those of you on the call, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be quite vulnerable here, and I'm probably going to share with you some things that I've never shared with the world. Growing up, I was born in a Singapore family, born and bred. My dad's an engineer. My mom used to be a primary school teacher. And so we were brought up with very middle-class, hardworking ethics and values. I actually experienced and I saw abuse in the household. And this was really painful for me. I remember this so clearly. It was an afternoon and, my father was so angry and my mom just ran up to her room and I had to chase after her. I knew I had to do something. And when I reached her room, she was just looking out the window and she was just crying. And I was so helpless. I was like I was barely a teenager. And I knew that I had to do something, but I felt so helpless. I didn't know what I could do. And I knew that I had to reach out. And I just stood there silently with my mom. And she turned back to me. It was a very dark room, but the sun from the outside was shining in. And then she turned to look at me with a bruised eye. She looked at me and said, "Imran, it's all my fault." And that moment I knew that anything in my life, anything that I was, anything that I would be, anything I would become, anything I would impact would only be from love, because anything outside from love does not create, it destroys. And isn't it the funny thing that the thing that we want to become, right? That fitness person or that role model or that family person or that love or that entrepreneur is normally the thing that we push away. And that's how I found myself in such a self-destructive mode. And for a long time, I used to really binge, really eating unhealthy stuff, going for late night suppers. And there was a point where I was so frustrated with how I took care of my body. I could not climb a flight of stairs without feeling out of breath. And one day I said, "Imran, it's enough. Let's change something. Let's stop the bad habits. Let's stop the toxicity. Let's stop the self-abuse." And one day I decided to go out and go for a run, sweat 15 minutes, And then it became a second day, and it became a third day. On the fourth day, I decided to start eating cleanly. Sometime down the road, I started doing more things. And over 81 days before I knew it, and I wasn't obsessed about the weight loss. I was just really into that journey. I lost 10 kilograms from 78 to 68, and now I'm at about 66 kilograms. I used to fail so, I used to fail so epically in business and in national service when I served 2 years and 2 months being locked up in the military, and I was in the military prison stationed there. I felt like a prisoner, and I asked myself, what do I want to do? And I decided I want to be a business owner, to add value, to create, to provide jobs, to take care of my family, to make something, to create something, to solve problems. And I failed 6 times in business over 8 years. And it took a long time and a lot of soul searching and a lot of changes for me to get to where I am. And in the last 2 years, I was able to travel around the world, speak in more than 8 countries, be featured on television, radio, newspaper, build a business, serve hundreds of clients, and speak to thousands and thousands of business owners, sales professionals, and entrepreneurs all around the world. And that again took a lot of changing the habits of who I was. And the last one, and the really most personal one, I want to share with you. If you look in the screen, what I'm sharing, on October 16th, 2014, I sent out a message to my friends, and I told them, I'm sorry guys, my wedding is off. And if you saw my first slide, you saw my family. I literally was pushing away the woman that I loved, the woman that loved me, and today the mother of my child. And in my head, I was telling myself, oh my God, Imran, you're so broken, you're so dysfunctional, you can't love, you can't be loved. And that was what's going on in my head. And it was not until, and this was even, after we mended up, we went ahead with the wedding. And even after that, that thought was still wreaking damage to myself and to my relationship and to my family. And it was not until I really changed that I started to really allow myself to experience and give unconditional love. And if you want to make a difference as a global citizen, as a change maker, it starts with us. The big problem that I see in myself, in my team, in my clients, and my friends, and the people that I talk to is that we go back to our old ways despite knowing what we want and how to get it. Isn't it true that you know exactly what you want and you know exactly how to do it? You know what you need to do first, second, third. You know what kind of discipline and commitment and kind of work that you need to put in. You know who you need to talk to. But the big problem is it's so easy to get back to our old ways. And why is that? Because information is not enough. There are 3 levels of learning, guys. And we are very smart people and we think that intellect is it. But intellectual learning is the lowest form of learning. The second form is emotional, where you really anchor and you really feel why this is important to you, why this can give you tremendous change and growth and benefit and love, and why if you don't, how much pain you'll experience and how much pain your loved ones will experience. And then the third is the most deepest. How many of you have ever autopiloted, whether you're riding a bicycle, a motorbike, or driving a car, and you're supposed to go one way and you autopilot at home? Because it's physical memory, muscle memory, and physical memory, and what we do every day is the level of training that we have, and that's what we revert to, and that's why we go back to our old ways, because we have physicalized it. I've created a word there. We have actually put it into our physiology, into our habits, into our routine. So we need to understand that when we want to change this habit, we need to go deeper than just knowing what it is and how to do it. We need to go emotionally, and then we need to physically manifest it. So how do we do this? I'd like you to pause at this frame and really ask yourself a few questions. Who are you really? When you are not serving yourself and you're doing those bad habits, is that really you? If it's not you, who are you really? Who are you really? And not just a title of who you are, but who are you really? Write that down, whatever comes to your mind. Second, what do you really want? Think of that bad habit. What do you really want instead? Write it down. Why do you want it? Write it down. Everything, write it down. Why do you want this? What does it mean to you if you do it? Everything, to you, to your team, to your family, to your community, to the world, everything. And what will it mean to you if you don't do it? For a lot of people, it could mean our life, it could mean our family, it could mean our finances, it could mean our dreams shattered, right? If we really knew how important it is and what are the repercussions if we don't, could we really change? And ask yourself, now that I know who I am, now that I know what I really want, now I know why I want it, now I know what it means for me, What do I need to do right now? Right now. What's the first thing you can do right now? Write it down, write it down, write it down. And now ask yourself, are you willing to go and make that leap? Are you willing to go and make that change? Because this presentation I'm sharing with you is not about information. It's about going and making change in your life and the life of others. If you want to be a global change maker, if you want to help people, if you want to be an entrepreneur, a speaker, a leader, whatever it is, you need to start yourself and make that change right now. If you don't lead yourself and become excellent in what you do, you can't possibly do the same for others. So what you do repeatedly literally rewires the neurons in your brain. It changes your DNA, it changes all the connections in your physical level, your emotional level, your spirit, and then it changes your life. Everything that I've ever experienced right now, it's really because I made a change and I changed habits of who I used to be and stepped out to who I can be. And I just want to share with you that whatever it is you want for yourself is possible as well. Share with me your story of breaking bad. I want to be able to help you. Message me, connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook. You can watch my YouTube videos of my Facebook videos as well. It's Imran, founder of Street Smart University. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.